Come into down dog. Start to paw the hands, pedal the feet. Take a moment and move in the neck, right? So you can nod yes, no, just kind of feel the kind of releasing of the neck muscles. And I think it's really important these days, especially if you're in school and you're on online classes. And we are living in this tech world that we need right now. We need it. So, but to balance out the kind of taking in the visual, the digital all the time, how the neck sits all the time is really important. Good. Now I want you to pull forward into plank. If you need to bring your knees down, bring your knees down. Otherwise, the toes slide back. Feel the low belly draw in. And all I want you to do is shift forward and then shift back, right? So you can do this with the knees down, right? Shift forward, really hug the arms in. Shift back, right? So take it into your degree of challenge. As you shift forward, we're definitely working the wrist. Put the weight into the fingertips. Pull the low belly back. Good. Take about 3 more. Keep the pit of the belly drawing in, tailbone lengthening back. Upper arms really activating, right? Hugging the upper arms in to feel the chest open. Good. And then you're going to shift forward and you're going to start to bend the elbows nice and slow, nice and slow, nice and slow, nice and slow. Gravity is going to get the best of you. Come on down. Draw the hands by the rib cage. Inhale, low cobra. Take 3 breaths. Okay, and within those 3 breaths, press all 10 toenails into the floor and feel as though you're trying to drag your hands back towards your feet. Keep that action as you pull the rib cage away from the floor. Keep the elbows bent slightly. Cobra variation. Draw the pit of the belly in, tailbone towards the heels. And then for up dog, you just push to straighten up the arms, float the legs up. Exhale, down dog. Woo! And for this hour, down dog, we want to feel like home. If it doesn't, you bring your knees down, half dog. And then we're gonna slowly walk our feet forward. Now, what I want you to play with is trying to keep your hands flat as long as you can. As you just take these itty bitty steps towards your hands. Good. Now I want you to bring your toes right behind your hands. Now, if you have longer legs, which I don't, you might already be on your fingertips, and that's okay. We don't have props, so we're just going to use kind of our abilities as we can. And I want you to shift the weight to the left and keep your right leg straight and just bring your right toes up onto your right forearm. Breathe and sink it down. Lean a little bit to the right. Lift the left foot up. Down. Good. Keep the hands right where they are. If you're on your fingertips, that's fine. All I want you to do is bend the knees towards your triceps. Triceps. Tri-tips. Lift your chest, gaze forward. And then straighten the legs, let the head release. Bend the knees. Right? The elbows are going to hit into the shins. Breathe. Chest forward. And straighten. Now, you might get an inkling of where we're going, okay? But this is just kind of building up that tripod kind of work. Weight into the fingertips, good. Forward fold, take the weight off the hands and the wrists. Just melt. Slowly bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, open up the chest, let the neck release. Again, we're going to come into a wide leg chair. So just where your feet are, bend your knees, take your arms, sweep them forward, frame the ears, and then straighten the legs, bend the elbows out to the side, open up your chest. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Plant the hands, step back to down dog. You can stay here for 5 breaths or plank chaturanga, up dog cobra. Okay? So what is your vinyasa? Curl the toes under, take it back to down dog. Right leg is going to your right knee to the outside of your right arm tricep, as close as you can get. You're going to shift once again, your shoulders forward, come into your fingertips. Breathe for 3, push away from the floor, 2, 1. Pull it back, open up the hip. Good. Bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Sink lizard's pose. So lizard's pose, you start to walk the fingertips forward and breathe. Hug the legs towards one another. So start to feel that isometric movement, pulling the legs in towards one another. And then you're going to walk the hands over to the left side. Elongate through that right rib cage. Let the head release. Good. Come back to center. Keep the hands to the inside of the right foot. Push down, shift your chest forward. Lift, open up the hip. Start to look underneath your right arm. So get a little kind of deeper twist in the upper back as well. Good. You're going to step your right foot forward. Keep your right fingertips on the floor to the outside of the right hand. And then bring your left heel down. And you're going to come into a side angle. I want you to take that left arm up to the sky. Open up the chest. Keep rooting down through the outer edge of the left foot. And then from here, float as you press into the right heel into warrior 2. Now you're going to reverse the warrior. The right arm's going to go up, and then bring the right arm behind the head. Cradle the head and just start to sink deeper towards that left foot. Feeling the head gently press into the arm. You're starting to work into that shoulder girdle. Low belly draws in. So you can sink a little deeper into the right knee. Hug the right hip under. And 5 breaths. Be in the experience of the shape. Really opening up from the chest to the throat to the crown of the head. Good. Come back to warrior 2. Parallel the feet. Hands will come to the hips. Big breath in. Open up the chest. Exhale. Hold. So from here, either take your legs wider, right? If your head's further away from the floor, or if your head's closer to the floor, take your legs in a little bit. Start to melt down. And I want you to play with finding the chaturanga arm. So that 90 degrees in your arms, the elbows over the wrists. Pushing down through the fingertips or the palms to lift the shoulders, broaden the chest, and breathe. Now, if you can, I want you just to feel the crown of the head to the floor. And if that means bending your knees or whatnot, that's fine. Okay? And as you feel the crown of the head, if it gets to the floor, don't force it. Okay? If you're up here, that's fine. Just imagine that connection. Just root down through the hands a little more. Hug the outer hips in. Good. Inhale. Halfway up, keep your hands on the ground. Start to walk your hands to the top of the mat. Plant them. Plank chaturanga, or just go back to down dog. What's your adventure for the day? And we'll meet in down dog. Deep breath in. Exhale everything out. Left leg's gonna lift. Take a moment, press your right heel down. And then bring your left knee as close to the left tricep as you can, right? And the chest shifts forward, right? So the shoulders are starting to come in front of the wrist. Put the weight into the fingertips. Hug the upper arms in. Right? Be in the intensity. Be in it. Low belly scoops in. Good. And then place your left foot to the outside of the left hand. You'll come into the lizard. Walk the fingertips forward. Feel as though you're isometrically kind of squeezing the legs together. And you want so much work in those legs that you start to get lighter on the fingertips. And that's really important, especially when we're starting to go into the inversion world. Like the legs have to be super powerful because that's the power that's taking the weight out of our shoulders and our head and our neck and the smaller joints. Good, breathe there. And then walk your fingertips over to the right. Let the head release. Bring it back to center, hands to the inside. Start to feel the chest shift forward. Lift that left leg and slowly float it back. Open up the hip. You can start to look underneath the left arm. For more space. Good. And then you'll step the left foot between the hands, building side angle from the ground. So try to keep your left fingertips on the ground. Draw the left hip crease back and open up the chest towards the right side of your mat. Firmly press down through the right heel. And then squeeze the legs, right? We got to get that deep line core energy to come up to warrior two. Exhale, reverse the warrior. Left hand cradles the head so the head can press into the forearm, soften the left shoulder, and really start to awaken all of these smaller muscles, the scaling around the neck, and awaken them by kind of removing blockages, stagnation, repetitive shape, right, to get the blood flow going there. 3 more deep breaths. Heart draws away from the belly button. Good. You'll release back to warrior two. Wide leg stance again. Hands will come to the hips. Lift through your sternum. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips will come down to the ground. This time, peace fingers will grab your big toes on either side. So the fingers wrap around the big toes. Adjust wider or more narrow. Hug the outer hips in. You want to feel a little bit of a challenge. Press the big toes down as you try to lift your fingertips up. Extend the heart forward, elbows out to the side. Okay. Once again, if you can get the crown of the head just to float above the floor, great. If it's not floating above the floor, think about elongating your spine, like drawing the thoracic spine towards between the legs. Okay. And you feel that long line of energy. 5 breaths. Inhale, come halfway up. Keep your hands on the ground, walk to the top of the mat, and you'll move through your vinyasa. Maybe that's just go back to down dog if you want. Otherwise, it's the plank chaturanga. Really feel the upper arms wrap in. Chaturanga, up dog. Good. Down dog. Good. Slowly bring your knees down. And then from here, the shoulders are right over the wrists. I want you to find cat position. And we may have played with this on Wednesday, but we're going to do 5 head taps through chaturanga with the knees down. So rounding in the upper back, elbows point back. Slowly just bring the crown of the head down. Tap, lift back up. Chin into the chest. Tap, lift back up. 3 more. Tap, lift back up. 2 and 1. Good. Bring your knees together, your big toes together. Curl the toes under, and then walk the hands back towards the knees to lift the knees. And then from here, I want you to keep the arms reaching forward. The knees are going towards the armpit, and see if you can shift forward to bring the forearms to the mat with the knees on the triceps. Lift your hips a bit and then push back. So maybe it's just trying to get the knees to the triceps. So that's just the work, is to kind of keep snuggling in. And you may not be touching, and that's fine. Otherwise, the knees are there, hands flat, kind of sinking, bring the forearms down, chest forward, and push back up. Let's just do one more. Just kind of find your edge. And breathe, shift, get really deep, constricted, and expand out. Good. Now from here, I want you to slowly start to rise. Open the knees up and close. Straighten the legs. Open the knees up. You can rise up onto the tippy toes and close. Straighten the legs. Good. Open and close. Make sure it's not in the knees. And then from here, hands come forward. Open the knees and close. Arms will add in. Bring it forward. It's just like an open door. Utkatasana. And squeeze. Open. And squeeze. One more. Inhale, open. And squeeze. Exhale, forward, fold. Chair pose, hips sink, arms float. Push to straight, elbows out to the side, feel the chest open. Hands come to the heart. Couple deep breaths. Just feeling the completion of that wave. Good. Second wave coming at you. Chair pose. Low belly in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, step or hop, plank chaturanga. Up dog cobra. Exhale, down dog. Good. Right leg's gonna left. Step forward to the outside, lizard's pose. Low belly draws in. Walk the fingertips forward. See if you can even get lighter on the fingertips. Good. And then the hands will go to the left. Keep the left hand grounding. Right hand will lift. Hug the right hip under. Reach the right arm up. Open up. You'll bring your right hand behind your head, and I want you to start to bend your left knee to the ground. Keep the left toes curled under and really start to arch back. Right? So it's a little bit of this lateral arch, back bend, twist. Open up through the back of the heart for 3, 2, 1. Hands will come back to the inside. Pull your right leg back. Open up the hip. Option the wild thing here. So the right foot will go to the outside of the left and then open up the chest. Step your right foot forward. Help it if it needs it. Building into the side angle. Left arm reaches up. Bring your left hand to your hip. Look down. Float into half moon from side angle. The left leg floats up and breathe. Really root down to the right foot. See if the balance is there. Can you play with just having your right fingertip on the floor, or maybe even pulling everything away? Ride the wobbliness. Okay? Such is life. Those little ebb and flows, how we react, really can start to lead to more space off the mat when stuff goes on. Good. One more full breath. Good. And then you're going to pull the left knee in. Left hand will come down. Step your left foot back only 1 or 2 feet and send your weight back. I want you to bend your left knee, and we're going to come into just a variation of flamingo. So start to walk your fingertips back towards the back of your mat. They'll turn that direction. Kind of feel this broadening and rounding through the chest. Take your heart forward, and if you want to add, you'll lift the sole of your right foot. Breathe. Low belly draws in. Gentle weight into the left foot. 3, 2, 1. Shift forward. Plant the hands. Lift your left leg up. Step it back. Plank. Chaturanga. Down dog. Flow with your breath. Let that create the pace of your practice. So it might be a little faster, it might be a little slower than mine, right? It's really about owning your own. All right, sequence on the other side. And left leg is going to lift. Feel free to open up the hip. We'll come into the lizard work. So left leg left, step the left foot forward, fingertips walk forward, get light on them, right? So really start to trust the legs up into the core, right, to create more stabilization through the spine. If you have to keep your fingertips down, that's good. Recognize that you need that support, right? That's an advanced yogi, right? Knowing you need to have that support there to go deeper. So it's not a head practice. It's a healthy heart and body practice. And there's nothing to prove. Okay? It's just knocking on the door to find the challenge, to release what's not you. Hands will walk to the right hand stays on the ground, the left arm lifts. Use the left hand to cradle and press the head back. And as you do that, the right knee will come down. Open up the chest. It gives you just more support to really feel this opening of the chest, the neck. Move into the energy of this pose as opposed to the actions of it. Good. Slowly wind back. Hands will come down into the next back bend. Okay, opening up the hip, wild thing. That left foot will go over to the right. Left arm lifts up to the sky. Couple deep breaths, root down. And then see if you can bring that left foot all the way forward. Left fingertips to the outside, opening up, just side angle here. So moving into half moon from side angle. You're kind of already there, right? So the knee's already bent. You got to reach forward, bring your right foot in, find those kickstands of the left hand, left foot, and then extend back. You can extend the right arm up, open up through the chest. What you got? What's going on? Right? Sometimes you have to really just sit in what's happening in the moment, come back to the foundation. Okay? You're balancing the body, you're balancing the breath, you're balancing the left and the right, you're balancing the internal physical, you're balancing the subtle energy, all with your surroundings. It's a lot to balance. Good. Pull your right knee in. Right hand comes to the floor. And just step your right foot back a little bit. Okay. The toes can turn out slightly, that's fine, or you can have them directly forward. Okay. I find just my knee tracking a little to the side helps. You're going to bend the knee in the back, so the right knee is bent, and then start to walk the fingertips back. Okay, and fold over the left leg. You want to add deeper hamstring work. You lift the sole of the left foot. And it's a pretty big stretch through the back body, especially on that left side. The quads working on the right. One more full breath. Good, and then shift forward. You'll lift the right leg up, step it to the back of the mat. Plank chaturanga, up dog, cobra. We'll meet in down dog. 3 deep breaths. Reset your system. So slowly come down onto your knees. And then come down onto your elbows. You're gonna shift your chest forward. So the elbows come in front, or the shoulders come in front of the elbows, and then shift back. Right? Pull the chest back, keep the forearms grounding there. All right, so a little more work in the upper back and shoulder. Chest forward, low belly draws in. Pull it back. And just take 3 more. Good. Now from here, I want you to let your head release. You walk the knees in slightly and just drop the crown of the head to the floor. Feel the stretch in the back of the neck. Push the back of the heart up. Push the elbows down. Good. Now I want you to bring your right hand to where your left or right elbow was, right? So right hand will just slide back to where the elbow was. And I want you to even just push more diligently into that right hand, into the left forearm. So the work is in the arms, very light on the crown of the head, and breathe for 3, 2, 1. Good. Come back up, bring the right elbow and forearm back to the mat, lift your chest, let the neck release. And then we'll go to the other side. So the crown of the head comes down just between the elbows. Push down through the right forearm. Slide the left hand into that kind of chaturanga arm. So the left hand's going where the elbow is. Push down, lift through the back of the heart, and breathe. It's as though you're trying to make the head, the crown, just hover above the earth. Good. Release the forearm back. Curl your toes under. Shift your hips back to your heels. Slowly roll on up so you're sitting on your heels. Open up your chest. Arms will lift up to the sky, and as they do that, they're going to lift your hips away from your heels. Interlace your fingers. Bring them behind the head and open up your chest. Tailbone goes down. Buttocks flesh goes down. Low belly draws in and up. Good. Start to bring your elbows towards one another. Now, this shape in the upper body is classic sirsasana, headstand, right? So feeling this work that's going on here, obviously you don't have gravity working against you and pressing down onto your neck, but can give you that really satisfaction of the neck strengthening that you get from headstand without going upside down. Right? So there's always ways to work the benefits of inversions for the most part. Lean back a little bit. And just one more edge. Good. And then slowly release. This time you're going to untuck the toes. All right. So tripod headstand. Now, if you got a headstand practice, you can go into that. See if you can stay 1 to 3 minutes. Tripod headstand is your arms are in chaturanga. So what you're gonna do, and I'll take it here to Bakasana too. So if you don't wanna put your neck down or put any pressure on your neck, you can play with Bakasana. So from here, you're gonna start to bring the crown of the head down and push up through the back. Okay? And maybe this is all you do, or start to climb right knee onto that right tricep. Breathe there, keep the hands pressing down. Bring it off. Roll to the forehead for a moment. Then roll to the crown of the head, hands pressed. Left knee climbs onto the left tricep, to the back of the left arm. Hold, push down. And this is a really good place to get comfortable and kind of test out what the effects are going to be on the neck. Because here's the one thing about the cervical spine, it's irreplaceable. And I like mine, even as injured as it is. Good, come back up. Open up the chest. Hands come behind the back. Soften the shoulders. So you can repeat that, or you can play with full crow pose, right? It's the same work in the upper back and body. If you want to work the full tripod headstand, you set up just the same way. Crown of the head to the floor. This time the knees lift. Climb one knee on. Maybe that's as far as you get, or two. Push down through the hands. Big toes come together. Right leg lifts. And then maybe the left. If you fall on a couch. Breathe. Hopefully you had a better moment than I did right there. If you're up for it, you can play with the legs, right? So just squeezing the legs together, the knees come up together. And you're looking for Tadasana in the legs. Weight into the fingertips. Low belly draws in. To come out, if you went all the way up, squeeze the knees in. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Maybe you lift the head, Bakasana, or just come to child's pose. Let the forehead Release. Let the arms release. And just enjoy that kind of buzz of energy. Fresh oxygenated blood moving through the back of the neck, behind the heart. Deep, steady breathing. Good. Now gently reach the arms forward and come in to down dog. I want you to take the hands a little wider, turn the fingertips out. Take the feet a little wider, just broaden the space because we just did so much kind of hugging in. You're going to want to open up the body at this point. Bring it back to classic down dog, feet hip bone distance apart, hands. If you want to take one last vinyasa, this is the time. Otherwise, just another 5 breaths in down dog. And then slowly look towards the front of the mat. Step or hop your feet forward. Feet will come down onto the mat. Lift up through your chest. And then one vertebrae will roll on down. Now, one of the greatest counter poses for headstand is another inversion. It's shoulder stand. So if you were fine in headstand, it's a great way to kind of just shift the energy. If you're like, my neck's been kind of my shoulder, that felt like a lot, and I just read the rest, you can do legs up the wall or just work bridge, even supported bridge. Grab a pillow or something and put it underneath the tailbone. Yeah. So what kind of counter shift? And the idea is we're still kind of working the inversion. And if you're working shoulder stand, the legs come up and over. You'll bring your hands to the low back. Really elongate the low back. Press your shoulders down. Draw your elbows in. And then once again, you're looking for like strong power in the legs to lift the weight out of the shoulders and neck, right? That's the work of all of the inversions, to really get the legs radiating out, to find that energy. Right? And breathe. If there's any discomfort in the neck and shoulders, come out, just work bridge. We want to hit that challenge mark, but we don't want to break ourselves. So that's why the breath is really important, to have this kind of honest dialogue with the body. See, we can take about 5 or 8 more deep breaths, elongating the exhale. And then to come down, go back into plow. Okay, take the legs back over the head. And then the hands will come by the side. Slowly roll on down, one vertebrae at a time. Bring the feet down and just pause there. Just bring an awareness into the body. See if you can step away from the thoughts that are trying to discern how you feel. And just be the vibration, that kind of pranic force. And then from here, we'll move into fish. Walk the feet forward. Hands come underneath the bottom, palms facing down, mainly the thumb and the index finger. Hug the elbows in by the rib cage. Lift the chest. You can stay here with the head floating or bring the crown of the head to the floor. Feel the chest, the chin open. The knees can stay bent, or you can start to lengthen the legs out, rest them on the floor, or keep them lifted into a full Matsyasana. So you get the kind of opening, the strengthening of the hip flexors still. We're always working that strength and opening phase. Open your mouth real wide, whatever shape you're in. And then draw the chin towards the nose. Feel a deeper stretch. And then deep breath in. Exhale, release. Let the shoulder blades fall apart. You untuck the hands. Let's take a deep breath. Good. Both knees will come into the chest to set up. And then gently move into figure 4. The right ankle comes on top of the left thigh. You'll hold behind the left thigh. Breathe here. One more full breath. Good. Now all you're going to do is take your right knee on top of your left knee. If you can do twisted root, hook your right foot underneath your shin and calf. Do so. Otherwise, just squeeze the knees together. And then gently bring the knees to the left. Right? So the legs will twist to the left. Open your chest and your gaze to the right. And even to get one last little bit of kind of tractioning through the neck, feel as though you're really pressing your right arm and maybe the gentle kind of really root the head into the floor as you soften the left shoulder away. Elongate the exhale. Good. Bring it back up to center. Hug in just to feel the hips come to neutral. Figure 4 on the second side, left ankle comes onto the right thigh. Just feel the opening across the sacrum. Relax around the shoulders, the jaw, and the face. And then we'll do the twisted root. So left knee on top. This side might be different. I know my left knee is always like kind of a little more wonky. So honor that. You don't have to force it. It's really about stretching through that left hip. The arms open up. The knees will come to the right. And then start to really stretch the chest to the left. And there you are. Emphasize the exhale. Elongate it. And then everything will slowly unwind. Hug the knees in. And then exhale, the nose will come to the knees. I want you to reach to find the soles of the feet and just kind of rock back and forth, kind of feel massage on the kidneys. And then see if you can start to straighten the legs up. Last little stretch, the head and shoulders will release. You'll kind of stretch through the hamstrings, low belly draws in, press up through the big toe mound. And this is a nice way to work forward folds if you have a tight hamstrings. You keep your knees bent, but it really helps to keep the spine straight. So you can kind of work from the legs, inner thighs pressing forward, and then slowly release. Start to melt the heels towards the front corners and the arms down by the side. If you need any little shift here or there to be able to drop deeper into this final relaxation, do so. Because this is the part you worked for. It's important for the nervous system to kind of feel the love. You let go of the physical actions and really hand over trust to the body. Right? The less you do here, the more energy you start to kind of move through you. Right? We let go of the used energy that's just stagnation now. We send it out so it can be recycled. Unblock, restore. The breath softens. The eyes sink. See if you can feel the skin be very relaxed. And just be in this state of plugging in to what you need without labeling it. It's a gift, it's magic, it's Savasana. Start to connect back to your breath. And into the body, into the space that you take up in the room. And just intuitively start to begin a journey to seated. Take at least a minute. Right? Once you're up, keep the eyes closed. And move from that kind of moving meditation into just sitting within for a moment. Maybe you feel the buzz of the layers. But you want to experience, not think. You want to take a deep breath in. Pause at the top. And with control through the nose, slowly let go. The next inhale will prepare you for the vibration of Om. Sweet, deep inhale. That was horrible timing. Suga. Let your head bow. Hands come to the heart with grace and gratitude. Namaste. Hopefully that didn't shock your nervous system. You need to kind of go back into a meditation to find a little bit of peace. You're supposed to Om with us, not bark, lady. But thank you. Sunday at 11, we can flow once more. Tell all your friends. And yeah, hope to see you then.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good day.